right, cool. So now let's get back to the Mandela effect. Yeah, okay. Well, the I guess what we can talk about first would be the residue. We have residue from the Mandela effect. So if you want to talk about like say the residue for Ed McMahon for a moment.
Sure. Well, why don't I explain what residue even means before I get into that?
Sure, go right ahead.
All right. So what the Mandela effect is when something changes in reality, but it changes also in the past. So what will happen is there will be thousands, if not millions of us that will supposedly misremember something, but remember it all the same. So for instance, like Ed McMahon, like you just brought up, that's one of the biggest ones for me and one of the biggest ones for everybody. When you bring up Ed McMahon to anybody, one of the first things they're going to remember is him working for Publishers Clearinghouse, him going door to door, not necessarily door to door, but to the winner's house with a gigantic check and balloons. But that's never been part of this reality. So when I tell you that's never been part of this reality, what I mean is like you literally you're not going to find a recording of any commercial of him doing that, even though they were always on TV. It just doesn't exist. It never happened. Now there's no record of it. He's never worked for that company. But what residue is leftover evidence. So when something changes, there's often like there'll be a parody or a spoof that somebody will do on it, like say a show like Saturday Night Live, The Simpsons, Family Guy. So anytime somebody does a spoof of something, they'll remember it the way we remember it. Like with Ed McMahon, for instance, not so much a parody or a spoof, but Johnny Carson. Well, Johnny Carson, Ed McMahon was his sidekick for a good 30 years. Johnny Carson goes on the David Letterman. So we're told we're all misremembering. Okay, there is no Mandela effect. It's a psyop. We're misremembering. Okay, we just associating Ed McMahon for some reason, all with the same company, all Publishers Clearinghouse, right?
Mm.
Johnny Carson goes on. This is residue. Johnny Carson goes on David Letterman's show one night, and as a joke, he brings out a huge check, and he literally starts off by saying this. He says, "I'm sorry, Ed McMahon couldn't be here tonight, but you're the lucky $1 million winner, Dave." And it's a joke, but he shows him the check. It's a huge, giant check, and it literally even says Publishers Clearinghouse on it. So we're all misremembering. Johnny Carson doesn't know where Ed McMahon, his sidekick for 30 years, was working on the side. He just doesn't remember. The entire staff of the Letterman show and everybody that would put together the props like that, they're all just misremembering. We're all having the same mismemory. It's just absolutely ridiculous. There's tons and tons of residue for all types of these things. Like for instance, something like, and it's not all movies and music and stuff like that, but that's what you use early on to resonate with people. So because people, you talk about geography, anatomy, and stuff like that, which we'll get into after, but it just doesn't ring a bell with people. But if you say something like "Mirror, mirror," people will finish that quote for you. "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" The problem now is "Mirror, mirror" has never been said. It was never "Mirror,
Mm.
mirror" in the cartoon. Now you can say, well, who's telling you it's not "Mirror, mirror"? They're lying to you. I'm telling you that you can go and pull the Disney movie off your shelf. It's not a digital download thing. People aren't screwing with you and changing things online. And I understand why everybody thinks that at first. Of course, you're going to think that. You're not going to jump to it's a supernatural phenomenon that's happening. But the thing is, every example that we're going to talk about today, if you go and check a physical, version, physical copy, whatever it is we're talking about that you have in your possession, it's going to reflect the change. So now if you pop in that movie, that Snow White movie, it's going to say "Magic Mirror" instead of "Mirror, mirror." But we're told we're all crazy. But then residue comes up. Like I was at my friend's house. He had a Burger King commemorative cup for Snow White, and on the back it had the quote "Mirror, mirror on the wall." Well, I guess Disney and Burger King, who licensed it off of Disney, got it wrong. And then later on, there's a movie in 2012 with Julia Roberts that they made, and it's a motion picture of the Snow White story with like real actors instead of
Mhm.
animation. They named the movie "Mirror, Mirror." Now, if "Mirror, Mirror" has never been said and we're all crazy and the Mandela effect is fake, why is the movie named "Mirror, Mirror"?
Yeah, yeah, you got to. That's really good stuff there, and it's so true because we've got all this stuff here that proves that we're not misremembering. We've got that. We've got let's see the thing about Sex in the City and Sex in the City. We got from
Yeah,
like
I
the
stay away from those ones.
animation.
Though. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't like to get into the ones that people can say, "Oh, that's like a tongue twister" type of thing. I like to stay with
yeah,
other ones like C3PO,
yeah,
C3. It's reality. Everybody knows now. What I'm not telling you to pull out episode 7 of some pilot show, and no, I'm talking about Star Wars. I'm going to talk about taking out your Bible. These are things that people have in
yeah,
their house. They just have to build up the actual courage and put their ego aside for a minute, or whatever that they have their faith in that won't let them look into it, and just look. All I'm asking you to do is look. If I'm full of crap, prove me wrong. I'm going to tell you right
yeah,
now, if you pop in your Star Wars movie, that C3PO is going to have a silver leg, the all gold iconic robot. He's the one character that has been in every Star Wars movie.
yeah,
Even more than the Jedi's or anybody, even more
yeah,
than Chewbacca. C3PO has been in every one. Okay, now he's certainly
yeah,
not the most popular character. He's kind of a little whiny bitch, but he's got a silver leg now, and it sticks out awful. You Star Wars fans, when I bring up certain scenes, you'll know what I'm talking about. You can go to the Ewok village and look at when they raise him up in the chariot in Return of the Jedi. I actually have that as the cover for my YouTube channel. So when you guys check it out later, they're holding him up in the chariot, and he's got the silver leg just staring you in the face. But then when you go and look for the residue, this is the residue again. There's so many toys and all these products, blankets,
mhm,
Halloween costumes. They're all gold. Anytime anybody has an intricate costume with like on a show like The Big Bang
mhm,
Theory, this is a show that does spoofs, parodies like The Simpsons, Mad TV, Saturday Night Live. They're full of residue. Every time they spoof something we remember, they do it the way we remember. They don't do it what this reality is now. They don't do a C3PO with a silver leg. If they do Snow White, they're not going to say magic mirror. There's a Simpsons episode. It's in the intro to all my shows where Homer Simpson's in front of it. He says, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the?" I forget what he says. He doesn't say the fairest, but maybe who's the
mhm,
baldest of the ball, some stupid crap. But
mhm,
mirror, mirror. Everybody knows it's mirror, mirror. Everybody. Like
yeah,
the movie changes are just they're insane. There's just so many
yeah,
of them, but those ones really resonate with people. But there's bigger ones too. Like geography is what really got me at first. Now
yeah,
I'm no geography expert. I'll come right out and say that. But I'm going to tell you right now, in my reality, where I come from, okay, South
mhm,
America was below North America. It wasn't 1,000 miles over to the right by Africa, which is where it is now. Take a look at it. It's
mhm,
not even underneath. I know you know, but I'm seeing other people
yeah,
out there. Take a look at it. It's not even underneath Mexico and Central America anymore. I mean, Central America is obviously still there, but I mean, the whole thing is shifted over to the right. It's barely underneath Florida. And even bigger part for me about that whole thing is because of the way it moved. The tip of Central
mhm,
America, since South America moved so far east, the tip of Central America no longer hits the top of it. It hits the west side, which makes the Panama Canal go north and south now instead of east and west. That
yeah,
absolutely blew my mind. That blew my mind. That when that happened, that was it. I was all the way in. And then there's so much more. Like JFK's car was always a 4-seater, four
mhm,
people in the car. His assassination changed, and it changed. I'm going to stick to the 4 versus 6 seater thing right now, but there's many
mhm,
changes with that. But the car now not only has 6 seats, it has 2 windshields. So people will tell us, well, you're just misremembering. Let me ask you something. How often do you ever see a car with 2 windshields?
mhm, yeah. I know what you
Probably
mean.
never.
Yeah,
Never.
yeah,
Right now, I'm
yeah,
not saying they don't exist. Obviously, they exist. There are things, for some reasons, but you never
yeah.
see it. How often do you see the president of the United States get his brains blown out? Like, you're not going to
Yeah.
remember if he's in a car that's so unique it has 2 windshields. And not only that, that makes all the other theories that came out before, as bogus as the theories are, and they're all rabbit trails that have to do with JFK, and that's my opinion. But there used to be a very popular theory that the driver would reach back and it looked like he was shot JFK. Do you know what I'm saying? But
Mhm,
now there's that extra bulletproof windshield in the way. I mean, he can't even do that, and that's not in the footage anymore. And now it looks like, and they used to. This is weird too because there used to be rumors like Jackie did it or something, but it never looked like it. Now it looks like Jackie blows his brains out from the left side to the right, and then she scurries out the back of the car. The entire
mhm,
position of the police motorcade is different for me. Now there's 10 different angles of the JFK assassination. Where I came from, there was like the Zapruder film, and I think there was one other real one that not many people knew about. But now there's like 10 of them.
Yep. Yeah.
Insane. Insane stuff with history. But my biggest one for the history, and then I want to get into some stuff that some of the flat Earth people can recognize with, because I know you have a lot of flat Earth people in your crowd.
Mm.
The big one for me, my number one is and I know because you've seen my channel, but I'm gonna pose this question so when people hear it on the playback, when I ask you people, what do you know about Black Tom? What do you say? And anytime I ask
Mm.
people, hey, what do you know about Black Tom? It's pretty much always the same answer. Who is he, or who the hell is
Mm.
he? Who's Black Tom? And I love that answer, because that just shows you have no effing clue what Black Tom is. And Black Tom is the absolute biggest Mandela effect for me. And I know it's not going to be for everybody, but with the Mandela effect, it's over encompassing our entire life. So there's something for everybody. There's stuff that's going to resonate with everybody. Every type of music, movie, geography, anatomy. If you're a car expert, like the logos are all changing. There's something for everybody. But for me, where I came from before I got into this, I came from a 9/11 background, real deep into 9/11, 2010 forward. Excuse me, tons of radio shows, all that, tons of forums, seen all the footage, analyzed it all, and you know, there was something that was never mentioned on in any of that, and that's Black Tom. And what Black Tom is allegedly now in this timeline. Now, whether this event really happened or was a scripted fake event like they do with a lot of these things, that's irrelevant, because it's in our timeline, it's in our history now, and it was not before. And what it is in 1916 now, two German spies, excuse me, they snuck in through two German spies snuck in through New Jersey, the New Jersey harbor. They blew off 100,000 pounds of TNT. It was so big, it measured 5.5 on the Richter scale, was felt in Philadelphia, and damaged the Statue of Liberty so bad that the torch was never opened. And I'm sorry, brother, I have spoken to people that have been to the torch. I remember when the torch was open.
Mm.
Now the torch has never been opened in this timeline. And not just as crazy as that is. So everybody going to school in the United States at least should have absolutely learned about this. Not only did I not hear about it in 9/11, they beat home the point. Now, I don't know, did you research 9/11 back in the day, or?
Yeah. Yeah, I did a lot.
All right. Well, this is going to resonate with you then, probably. In all the
Yeah.
9/11 documentaries, maybe not all of them, but
Mm.
there's one thing you heard almost all the time, and it was 9/11 was the second foreign attack on U.S. soil, and Pearl Harbor was the first. I'm sure you've heard that.
Mm. Yes.
Now that doesn't even add up, because now what about the Germans that came over and blew up the Statue of Liberty?
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, you got the X-Men film where they were in the torch too. I mean, come on. It's like they didn't make any mention of it being, cordoned off or anything like that in that film. And the big one of the big scenes was in the torch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get off the history ones for a second, get some ones that really jingle with people. For instance, Mr. Rogers. Okay.
Mm.
Everybody knows Mr. Rogers. I don't know how old you are. You're probably a little younger than me, maybe. But
Mm.
everybody, between probably 30 and 50 grew up with Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. I
how
was
old are
born
you?
in 67. So,
Okay. Oh, you're a little older than me then. Okay.
yeah.
So he would always come through the door, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Well, now he says it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. He comes through the door and says it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. You're never going to tell me I'm misremembering on this, because first of all,
Mm.
after coming through the road I come through looking at NASA, all these lies and stuff, what do we always tell people? It's time to stop. It's time to trust your senses. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, go
Yes.
outside, feel the earth spinning, you don't see it curving. That's because it's not. So stop making, these extraordinary claims have to be proven. Start trusting your senses. Start trusting your memory. You all know it was a beautiful day in the neighborhood. And people I don't even mention this to, like at work, they'll sing this song just like when it's a good day. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Mm.
Nobody's ever said this. So we're telling people about this for about a year, right?
Yeah.
And then it gets announced that Tom Hanks, who is involved in so many of these, and we can touch on that later, but Tom Hanks is going to be in the Mr. Rogers movie. Okay.
Mm.
So now we're in the middle of the movie is going to come out. The songs changed. Now, when I say the songs changed, you can go and take your old VHS tapes, your DVDs, whatever you have of Mr. Rogers. I'm not asking you to download it online, but you can. Okay, I'm telling you, hard copies in your house, and they're gonna say it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. Now, on top of that, the movie didn't have a title until a couple months ago. CNN article comes out. Sony Pictures announced title for Mr. Rogers movie named after the popular theme song "It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood." So the title of the movie is exactly as we all remember, and everybody sings, "It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood," but he's never said a beautiful day in the neighborhood in this reality. And we're supposed to be crazy. They named the movie what we're supposed to be crazy for what we're saying. They named the movie that. They
Yeah.
named the movie that.
Yeah, the James Bond Jaws one was interesting because it doesn't make any sense the in the context of the movie now, where she doesn't have braces. What I'm talking about, where
Yeah,
Jaws falls in love. Yeah,
yeah,
falls
that's
in
huge
falls
for
in.
people. I just you just never heard me talk about it because I just honestly never saw the movie. But I know that's
Oh,
huge
yeah,
for a lot of people. That's
yeah,
huge for a lot of people.
yeah.
I know there's a lot of people out here that are a lot of flat Earth people too. So let me get some ones that have to do with NASA out there. You know,
Okay.
just some terms and then some big ones though. Let me just start right off with I think it's one of the biggest ones. All right, so have you seen a lot of the well, you probably have. I mean, you've been around for a bit, but people listening, you've probably seen a lot of the like the Christian-based flat Earth versus globe type of discussions, and people would often cite the Bible, and out of any Bible. Now I know different people have there's many versions, different people read different versions, whatever. But out of any Bible, I would think any flat Earth would agree the most popular one, the one that people reference the most, maybe not you personally, but the most would be the King James. I mean, I heard it over and over again. I'm not a Bible guy. That's not my thing. But I know that flat earthers would almost always go to the King James. And, there's a lot of discussions brought up about, like, look in the Bible. There's 200 or so Bible quotes or scriptures that relate to the stationary earth. The earth is immovable. The earth has pillars. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then also the discussion goes in another direction, not another direction, but they go, they tell, flat Earth people would tell the globe believers, the ones that are, it only works on people that are really religious, but they would tell the religious globe believers, the Bible believers, that hey, planets aren't even in the Bible, and this was a huge talking point in these discussions, huge, and they had a great point, if you believe that the word of the Bible is the truth, they had a great point. The planets are not in there. Planets are in the Bible now. So I'm going to ask all the flat Earth people. You have a choice. Were all of you lying? No, I don't believe any of you were lying. I'm not trying to come out here and be a hot ass. I'm just saying, were you guys lying? No, you weren't. Planets wasn't in there, but planets is in there now. Now, the first reaction people have is, well, the reissues of the Bible. What year is your Bible? I'm saying, take out your Bible. You, the person that just told these globe believers that there's no planets in the Bible because you looked in your Bible. Now you're going to look, and it's going to be in there. And here's what people will do. They'll start to go into metaphor mode. They'll say, oh, well, planets means constellations because it's still constellations and all the other ones. It just hasn't changed yet. You can't. So let me ask you this. If you're going to imagine you went to somebody that was, believed in the globe, right, but was willing to look at flat Earth, somebody with kind of an open mind, it just wasn't there yet, right? And it's a Christian-based discussion, right? And you really got them on the Bible stuff. You got them with the 200 passages and stuff, right? And then
Yeah.
they're still hanging on to the planets, and you're like, dude, planets isn't even in the Bible. Imagine they pull out the Bible, prove you wrong, show you planets is in there, and you try and backtrack and say, well, planets is a metaphor for constellation. You just totally lost the discussion. You
Yeah.
can't. You just totally lost the discussion right there and totally lost the person. So you need to first off, as this is I'm letting people know you need to not use that anymore as a proof, okay? Because it's in there now. Okay, you can't go into metaphor mode because you're gonna look like an idiot and dishonest if you do that. The fact of the matter remains: was the word in there or not? You admitted it wasn't in there. You based all these discussions. You got in arguments over it. It wasn't in there. Now that word is in your book. It has nothing to do with the reissue. It has nothing to do with the translation. It has nothing to do with Hebrew to whatever. I hear all this shit. Dude, it changed in your own Bible. It changed in your own Bible. Planets are in the Bible. You can't use that anymore. So where are all the flat earthers now that always use that are denying the Mandela effect? I challenge them. I'll open my phone lines on my channel after this tonight. I'll challenge them to call in because it's crazy. And then the other one that I just found out the other day. This one will blow your mind. At least I hope it does. Well, you probably already know because you've been watching my channel. There's another argument, even a deeper argument, because this isn't just based on words in a book. And I'm not offending anybody. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm not trying to insult anybody's faith. But it is a book and it does have words in it. Okay. I'm talking about when you're talking about a flat earth discussion and you're talking about proofs. Now, the fact that this changed doesn't mean the Earth's a globe, so don't anybody start throwing shit at the screen. It doesn't actually do anything for the globe at all. It's just one less proof out of about 1,000 for the stationary Earth, okay? You can't use it. At least not in the same manner. So many of the discussions, not only so many discussions, let me just say this. When Flat Earth started, when I got into Flat Earth in like 2014, right? Late 2014. There was nothing yet. There was no videos. There was none of that. And then people started getting cameras, and then the P900 thing caught up a little after that. And people started taking time-lapse photos of the star trails. There have been so many discussions, so many videos. I posted some images from Eric Dubé's video earlier today because I want to try and get anybody's attention with, because I don't think he's a stupid guy. And in his video, I'm going to show you what happens. And in everybody's video, we always talk about Polaris being stationary, being the stationary fixed point in the north. And it gets deeper than that. The fixed point in the north that all the stars rotate around in a counterclockwise circle. And then you would have the globies where the conversation would go, oh, well, there's that fixed point in the south, and you can't have that if there's no south celestial pole. But there is no fixed point in the south in reality. There is no Sigma Octantis that they all rotate around. It's actual nonsense. But this discussion would still happen, and they would try and compare it to the fixed point in the north, the stationary North Star. The North Star is moving now. The North Star is doing circles in the sky, just like all the rest of the stars in the north. Now, people that are hearing this the first time, just like the reaction I've been getting on Facebook the last couple of days, oh, they hate me. They're saying I'm like a shill and this and that. Dude, just go look. I mean, take the 5 minutes and look. Like I told you to take the book off your shelf, take the movie out and put it in. Dude, go outside and put your camera at the friggin' sky. You're going to see it. You're going to see. I mean, if your camera's capable of getting those star trails in the first place, or go and look at your old footage. Go and look at your old footage, and it's changed. And I got so many people with this already, and a couple of them were honest with me. Like they're like, "Wow, that's crazy." Because I asked them, "Yeah, was stationary?" Yeah, of course it was stationary. I'm like, I know. And then I'm like, let me see, dude. I found posts from people, posting the star trail footage, putting stationary star as the hashtag. Polaris is stationary. It's all over the place. You know it is. This went on. This is a very popular thing for people to photograph. Now, in all those people's photos and videos, even underneath the caption about it being stationary, the North Star is moving. There's an Eric Dubé video that I just watched yesterday, and I seen it years ago about Polaris, like a 15-20 minute video. Yeah, right in the text on the screen and the words coming out of his mouth, he's telling you it's the fixed point, the stationary star, and as he's telling you in his footage, it's doing circles. Now, regardless of your opinion on him personally, and he's a polarizing character, that doesn't matter. He's not a dumb guy. He's definitely not a dumb guy. He's not going to tell you it's stationary and put it circling in his footage, and it wouldn't go unnoticed for all this time. We wouldn't have all been saying it. We wouldn't have all been using that as a proof. The fact that people can even deny this to me is boggling my mind. It's very frustrating because I use things like this to try and build bridges between these communities. These are the perfect ones. I don't know. That's big for me. And there's more. There's more with NASA. Werner von Braun's name has changed. Everybody knows Werner von Braun, rocket scientist that helped stop NASA, the Nazi, right? Werner von Braun. Not only does everybody know his name, everybody has actually taken pictures of this guy's gravestone, right? Am I right? Am I exaggerating?
Yeah.
We've taken pictures of this guy's gravestone because he has the Palms 19:1 on there, which is the passage that has to do with the firmament, right? And now his spelling of his name changed. Werner is now Wern Her. It has an H in there after the N. Werner Her. And it's funny because if you go and I have some of these, this is the residue we talk about. People in regular conversations, if you go in the past and look at them, I'm not talking about the official products, official advertisements, those will all change. But our regular conversations, like in Twitter, in old forum posts, whatever, like years back, they'll have the residue. And these ones are brilliant because people take pictures of his grave and use them as memes. I've done it. And in the memes, people have write in big letters Werner, the way it used to be spelled, but on the gravestone, it's changed and it has the H in there. Dude, so you're telling me you're making the meme, looking the gravestone dead in the face, and you're going to type his name wrong in the top? We're not all misremembering. This stuff is changing. Daylight savings time never existed now. It's always been daylight saving. Halley's Comet. Everybody knows Halley's Comet. As fabricated as things like daylight savings and Halley's Comet are in the first place, Halley's Comet is now Halley's Comet and always has been. It's crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, you're right. It's really crazy. The thing, that one of the things that really got me was the New Zealand being moved from north of Australia to southeast of Australia. I know for a fact it was north of Australia. So yeah, there's that, and oh, hang on, I gotta move something here. I'm still trying to work on my technical problem here. Um, so anyway, yeah, um, the I've had lots of personal experiences too with Mandela effect. In fact, let me tell you a story about when I first discovered it, and that was when I was in a field outside of Houston, or well, in Houston actually, and there's this bulldozer that um, came over and knocked over a fence to get into the field that I was in, and it knocked over a tree, and then it came up right next to me, right, and it there we go, got rid of that. Okay, so anyway, it came up right next to me. I took one step, and it was gone. And what happened is it was back in the other field. Okay, the fence had knocked down, the tree had knocked down, both were back upright again. So prior to that, just prior to the incident, I had read in the Houston Press a story about Joyce C. Carter. Okay, she was head of Harris Medical County Examiner's Office, and she was white. She's blonde, really beautiful. Her picture took up the entire page, the front page of the paper, and she was in trouble because she had a California medical examiner or medical license, whatever, and not a Texas one. Harris County is in Texas. So um, after the bulldozer, I looked at the paper again, and it was now Joyce C. Carter, and she was black. Her picture was like really small on the cover, and she was still same woman in trouble with the Harris County Medical Examiner's Office with Texas, I guess, and over the same thing. She had taken over from some guy that had been there for 50 years. Okay, been there, I guess, well, for 50 years from 1950. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, so now I looked up like a couple of days ago or so. I looked her up again, and now she's Joy M. Carter. She's kind of black now. She's a really light skinned black.
She's kind of black now. She just keeps changing skin color.
Yes, she keeps changing skin color, and she's not in trouble for that for the license anymore. Now she's in trouble for covering up for someone who had a California medical license, and she's in trouble for a whole bunch of other stuff. I've got the article right here, and it's just incredible. I mean, it just keeps changing. And the guy's name that she had taken over from it started with a Z. It was some big long name that I could never remember because it's just like a Polish name or something. I'm not sure, but but yeah, it's like I've got it. It's the article is from March the 5th, 1998. Okay, I've got the article here, and it's just so different. It's much longer article, and it goes into all this other stuff about her. And I thought that I had moved from one earth to another. Okay, because obviously, if you just take a step and then everything changes around you, that's what you would think. And that was long before I knew about the Mandela effect.
Yeah.
So yeah, I experienced it happening. I also have a relative that I never had before, um, a relative by marriage who his my mom's sister had died. Now, she was married to him. Okay, she died a long time ago, but according to my mom, he had gotten remarried. And then now in this new reality, he didn't. So, everything changed. And I thought, I'm just on another earth. What else could I think? And that's my Mandela effects right there. It's
Well, the
just,
personal ones are big. The personal ones are huge. I had a personal one. My whole neighborhood changed its name, and nobody's even taken the update yet. Let me talk about the update.
all right.
We a lot. See what'll happen a lot of times is, like, let's say I approach somebody and they say about the planets in the Bible, which we just talked about. But then they'll just like take the update like right in front of you, and they'll be like, "Oh, well, yeah, planets were always in there, or yeah, it's because of this and that." And it's like you just told me it wasn't in there. This is something that we see happen all the time. It's very very frustrating, but it's like, uh, yeah, I don't know, man. It's very frustrating to see because you'll when you approach somebody with the Mandela effect, you don't tell them, "Hey, is this a Mandela effect or not?" You don't even give them the choice. Hey, was this what you remember? You ask them a question. Hey, answer this. Hey, what animal lied with the lamb? You know what I mean? And everybody's gonna
Yeah.
say lion. That was even a question on Jeopardy for like $800. But now it's the wolf. The wolf lies with the lamb. That's huge. And you say you brought that up to your mom, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Just last night. Yeah. And she said she's going to check. I couldn't remember exactly where in Isaiah it was, so I had to look it up later. It was 16, no, 16, 10,
11:6.
6, 11, 6. That's, yeah, that's right. 11,
Yeah.
6. Yeah. So, yeah. So she says she's going to look it up. She actually grabbed her Bible and everything while we were talking, but she couldn't find it immediately because, I couldn't remember. But yeah. So
Well,
she's a big
first thing
Christian.
people are going to do is doubt their memories. First thing people are
Yeah.
going to do is doubt their memories. But how many times can you doubt your memory? And when you're going to doubt your memory, I mean, like, how can your memory match everybody else's, but you're all wrong?
Yeah.
And then you have the residue. Yeah, I don't even need residue at this point. I've been doing this for years. I
Mm,
don't need residue. When I see something, I know. But if I'm going to prove it to somebody, I need residue. And we have it. We have
yeah.
tons of proof of the Mandela effect. People think we don't have proof. I've got thousands of proofs. I mean, just so many proofs
Yeah.
everywhere. There's so much proof of everything. It's insane. Um, I
Mm,
mean, go and look at like a movie like Back to the Future. When Marty goes to there's a lot of changes in it. I'm just gonna focus on one real quick. When Marty goes to the goes to Doc's house in the beginning of the movie, and he
mhm.
plays the electric guitar on Doc's amp and he blows it up.
Yeah.
If you go look at him now, he's holding like a little yellow mini guitar, like it looks like a little ukulele.
Oh
Okay, and
gosh.
it's absolutely ridiculous. And people want to scramble to different ideas. Well, maybe these people are effing with you, and they filmed two versions. It doesn't matter. They could have filmed 15 versions of it with 15 different guitars, right?
Mhm.
That's still not going to change the version that's at my house.
Yeah.
It's not going to change the version at your house. So what else what's the other explanation? Is there a Mandela burglar that goes around at night and updates all our movies for us, hits everybody's house like Santa Claus? Because that's what you must believe if you think that this isn't real. Because what else is happening? You
Yeah.
can't say it's a psyop. When people want to brush this off as a psyop, that's the same stuff you did to Flat Earth. That's the same stuff you did to 9/11. It's the same stuff you did to all these other talk. No, don't ever call anything a psyop if you're not going to look into it first. Because
Mm,
the people that say Mandela effect is like Mandela effect is just mismemory. That's no
Yeah.
difference than me saying to you, flat Earth is just people that don't understand science. It's a ridiculous statement. I know that. It's very insulting, and it shows that I haven't even taken a day to look into it. Do you know what I'm saying? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, and there's so much proof of this. I mean, it goes on and on. We talk about history and being screwed with NASA, these things. If I asked you people, what's the most famous museums? We know museums are corrupt, the dinosaur bones, all this shit, right? What's the
Yeah.
most famous museum in the United States? They would say the Smithsonian.
Smithsonian. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the Smithsonian Institute never existed now. It's always been the Smithsonian Institution. If I said to you, what's the DEA stand for? You would say the Drug Enforcement Agency. Everybody would. I've done polls where I don't tell people it's a Mandela effect, and I don't put in Mandela effect groups like 98%. I mean, Drug Enforcement Agency, but now it's always been the Drug Enforcement Administration. That's crazy to me. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Famous quotes. Lucy, you got some splaining to do. Okay. One of my favorites. Um, in my reality where I come from, Ricky Ricardo said that nearly every time he came through the door because she was always getting into some trouble, right? That's what I remember.
Right.
Maybe other
I
people
agree.
don't. It's not even like it happened once in a great while. Like he always said that. He'd be like, Lucy, you got some splaining to do all the time. Mad TV does skits of this. They've done about 4 different episodes of it over the years where they did an I Love Lucy skit. In every single one, Lucy, you got some splaining to do. Saturday Night Live, same thing. That '70s show, same thing. Doing I Love Lucy skits. Multiple cartoons that I have residue of. I have an I Love Lucy video. I have a short list for anybody that hears this on my channel, the Brian Stavely channel. There's a Mandela Effect short list. I have a video that's just for the I Love Lucy one. Well, now if you go and watch I Love Lucy, again, take your old records off the shelf. Take your old VHS off the shelf, okay? Put it in. Ricky Ricardo never said, I love Lucy in this reality. And if you think otherwise, you're just crazy like me. You know you're not crazy. You know he said it. This thing is real. And all you have to do to prove me wrong is disprove these things. Go ahead, bang them out. Show me the copy. Show me your Star Wars where C-3PO is all gold. Show me your copy of I Love Lucy where it says, Lucy, you got some splaining to do. Show me the episode of Lassie where Timmy falls in the well. Because now that episode never existed. And that's the most famous episode from where I come from. And it's
Yeah.
so crazy. You want to talk about residue? Well, if you go on YouTube and you look up Timmy in the well, there are people all over YouTube with their real life dog mimicking an episode that now has never existed, where they will actually make their dog bark. Woof, woof. What's that, Lassie? What's that? Timmy's in the well, and then they would just keep doing that. And there's like, dude, there's like, I made a whole video on it. There's like endless parodies on it. Other people made videos before me. Moneybags made a really good one a long time ago. There's endless parodies. Why are these people doing something that never existed?
Yeah.
All doing it the same. Random people all over the world making YouTube videos doing parodies of an episode that supposedly never existed. And then on top of it, so we're just crazy, right? We're just crazy. John Provost played Timmy. He's the guy that played Timmy. He wrote an autobiography. The title of his autobiography is Timmy in the Well.
Yeah. It's just I remember hearing that all the time when I was growing up. It's just it's just all these things that you know. It's like, well, when I was talking to my mom last night, I was telling her about oh God, I'm blanking out, Ed McMahon and stuff, and she remembers Ed McMahon and the envelopes that you used to get with his photograph on it. And it's like, now I told her, it's like, now Publishers Clearinghouse says he never was a spokesman. You know, it's like,
He's
it's
from
crazy.
my hometown.
Yeah.
Everybody knows he worked for Publishers Clearinghouse, dude.
Mhm.
Everybody. There's a rap song that I play in my intro where he's driving around in a white van doing a parody rap, going to people's houses to collect back his big check because he's broke. And
Yep.
he's rapping. It's Ed McMahon, too. It's not even a guy playing Ed McMahon this time. It's literally Ed McMahon himself. Well, what's this mean? It doesn't even make any sense. It never happened, though. We're crazy, We're crazy. And another huge one for me is the Statue of Liberty. When I talk about Black Tom, we can't leave out the Statue of Liberty. That's tied in. And the Statue of Liberty, and whenever I ask anybody where the Statue of Liberty is, without hesitation, The Statue of Liberty is on Ellis Island. The Statue of Liberty has never been on Ellis Island now. And again, I'll relate this back to 9/11.
Yep.
You know, if anybody's looked at visuals of 9/11, it's me. And the entire skyline is different. And I mean, there's millions of people in the world that can tell you the skyline in New York's different. The Statue of Liberty is not even in the shot anymore. It's like way over to the left. When you if you, so even if you're looking at old pictures of the towers before they came down 19 years ago, whatever it was, 18 years ago, right? Those old images have changed, and the Statue of Liberty is not going to be in the shot. I'm telling you right now. I mean, you might have a really, really wide shot where you might have it, but it's way across the water, and you'll see it's not anywhere near where it was. And
Yeah.
people will say, oh, and so now there's this island it's on called Liberty Island. So now there's an extra island, and people will
Mhm.
say, oh, well, people say, oh, you mixed up Ellis Island because that's where the immigration was, but the statue was never there. So let me ask you this: if the Statue of Liberty was always on Liberty Island, how would we misassociate that with the fucking another island? I'm sorry. I mean, that'd be the easiest thing to
Yeah.
remember. It's Liberty Island because it's the Statue of Liberty, right?
Right. Yeah.
But
I
no,
remember.
Ellis Island.
Yeah. I remember. It's like yeah, I never heard of Island until I guess relatively recently. With like in well, maybe like I guess last 5, 6 years or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. First time I
Yeah.
heard of it, maybe 2015, 2016. I started looking at this stuff like late 2014, maybe early 2015, a little bit after I
Mm.
got into the flat earth stuff. And Black Tom hadn't hit me yet, so I don't know if it had gotten our timeline yet. It might have came in like 2016, because for me my number one was South America, the Panama Canal, until I
Yeah.
learned about Black Tom, and do this so many more. Like it just normal things in your house. The entire grocery store and the entire
Mm.
King James Bible have been fucking. They just been obliterated, dude. I mean, uh, stovetop stuffing never existed now. Everybody's eating stovetop stuffing. Now it's called craft stovetop. So the people that say Mandela effect is fake. So if you're listening to this and you say this is psyop, I already know what you're gonna do. You got to say you're stupid. People can sell their brands, and Kraft brought it off Stofas. Okay, well, there's records of things like this, right? There's records of logo changes. Go look, because that's not what happened. It was never part of Stofas. Stofas still exists as a company. They still sell their other food, French bread, pizza, all that pasta and all that, but they do not have Stofas stovetop stuffing. And the creepy part is the Kraft stovetop stuff in the box is almost identical. It's that red and yellow box. It's like the same thing, but it's Kraft. Hello, Clarice. Very famous quote. Thousands of T-shirts on Amazon with that quote on there. Hello, Clarice, from The Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
He doesn't say hello, Clarice now. He says either good morning or good evening. I don't want to say the wrong, but she's over there. He's like, good evening, instead of saying hello, Clarice, in the spooky voice. Build the dreams. If you build it, they will come. Now
Yeah.
they say if you build it, he will come. He will come.
Well, this world has to be an illusion of some kind. It has to be consciousness or computer simulation or both. It has to be, because you can't just it can't be like a time traveler moving continents around or making Germany larger, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just can't be. So it has to be an illusion. Now, I was thinking last night that this world may be an ascension machine, essentially.
Yeah.
Could
Yeah.
be. Like it's a machine for us to, start ascending up to higher levels of
Well,
consciousness.
yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I think it's like that's pretty much kind of what I think. I mean, I think it's God put us here as this is like a test. It's like a big, intricate test, though, And there's these people out there. Some people call them zombies. Some people call them NPCs. Some people call them soulless. Some people just call them, super indoctrinated. They just go along to get along. But for us, it's
Yeah.
like a choose your own adventure book. We make conscious decisions, and I think that this Mandela effect has been happening since. I think it's a terrible name, first of all, Mandela effect.
Yeah.
But it's too late for that. It's too late to change it. Um, I think that this has been going on literally since the beginning of time, whatever time is, what we perceive as time. Here, our existence here. I think this has been going on that entire time. It's accelerating. And I think it's accelerating because we're all feeding off each other with our consciousness, and we're all coming near the end of that test, and then we're going to ascend, like you're talking about. We're going to
Yeah.
go somewhere else. We're certainly not going to die and go on the ground. I mean, our physical body might go on the ground, but we're certainly moving on. And I don't know. That's just how I feel about it.
I have well, I had an elderly relative at one time. It's like several years. Oh God, actually more than several years. It's about 2000, roughly, or 2001, something like that. I was talking to her, and she was like really confused about wars and stuff, like when the Vietnam War happened and stuff like that. And you could chalk it up to dementia, but now that I know about the Mandela effect and everything, well, maybe it's
Especially with
possible.
the wars.
I'm sorry,
Especially
what?
no, well, especially with the wars. The fact that you
Yeah,
mentioned her memory of the wars is what's actually changing the most.
yeah, like World War II in Germany and stuff.
Everything to do with
Yeah,
Germany. The
yeah,
swastika itself has changed. Now it's slanted at a 45-degree angle. That was never like that for me in my reality. Germany now has this entire whole northern shoreline. Germany also, not only they've been kicking our ass since Black Tom, another huge event is Torpedo Alley. Now in 1941-42, they allegedly killed 5,000 of us off the coast in North Carolina, I believe it is, or Virginia. 5,000 of us and sunk 500 ships. What? What?
yeah. That never happened in what I remember. Yeah,
No, no, we've been bombed. Oregon's been bombed. I mean, what? Why would anybody even bomb Oregon? No
I
one's
didn't
no.
have heard of that one. You got a new one there. Oregon bombed. When did
Yeah,
that happen?
yeah. I think that one might have been the Japanese. I'm not sure if it was the Germans. I think that one might have been the Japanese. I know
What?
before on a
Yeah,
show.
it would have been Japanese. Yeah, I do know that the Japanese came in and kind of came close to attacking California or something, and then they said, well, yeah, they actually did have a submarine off the coast, and it keeps changing though. So now this Oregon is a brand new one. That's I read a lot of history. I would have come across that if it had been you know
Yeah,
whatever. It's
um,
it's
yeah. It's
it's
crazy.
just
Some of the ones that really get me easy is the music ones. Like I used to, you know how as you get stressed out researching certain topics stuff. I used to like unwind from all that
yeah,
with the music changes. So what happens with the music changes is I'll give you a couple popular songs real quick, and I do have videos on these songs if people want to check them out, breaking them down. But like a song like say Jewel, "Who Will Save Your Soul."
yeah,
I'm not gonna go on singing it here, but "Who Will Save Your Soul." Everybody knows that song. Now
yeah,
she said the title still remains, but now in the chorus of the song she says, "Who will save your souls?" with an S on the end. And this is something we see with the Mandela effect all the time. The S either being dropped or added to names, lyrics. So she says,
yeah.
"Who will save your souls?" now. And when we're talking about residue, again, so the album is going to change. The official video is going to change. Any album in your house right now, if you have Jewel, put it in, please. Prove me wrong. You can't. You're going to put it in, unless it's some obscure live show or something, which is what we're going to get
Hmm.
into. But you can't put in the album and show me that it still says soul. It's going to say souls. If you watch her live shows, she says souls, but there is two of them where she goes out and it's unaffected. The residue remains in the live show, and she sings it the way we all remember it. "Who will save your soul?" all the way through. Um, and anytime anybody parodies it, of course, "Who will save your soul?" Nobody's gonna say "Who will save your souls." And one of the bigger ones is Queen. "We Are the Champions."
Hmm.
Because everybody knows the end of that song. Everybody knows that song. It's so huge. It was played at every sports parade around here. So every bar growing up, "We are the champions of the world." That's the end of the song. Now, if you
Hmm.
play the song, it doesn't say "of the world" at the end. Anyway, it doesn't. It doesn't. And there's two shows. One from Wembley. They're both from Wembley, like '85 and '86, or '84 and '86. And they go out there and they literally sing it the way we all remember it. So we're all misremembering. Everybody in the crowd that's singing along is misremembering. You're telling me the Rolling Stones? I mean, the Queen themselves. We'll get into the Rolling Stones too. Them too. But Queen themselves They don't know. They don't know their own lyrics. They're just adding these imaginary words that we just added imaginarily. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous, dude. It's ridiculous. And then there's incremental changes where things just keep changing, like the Statue of Liberty, the Thinker statue. They'll change multiple times. And that breaks down a little bit more about the theories into what's causing this, and like how you talked about, it can't be time travel, moving continents. Same thing with these incremental changes. It can't be jumping from one timeline to another. Just like I know you said talked about being on a new Earth and an old Earth. I have to disagree with that because if these changes happen because you jumped, all the changes would happen at once.
Yeah, I
And
know. That's where I
yeah,
no longer believe that, but I did at the time. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and we
Uh,
would see the same changes, and that's just not how it is. Most of the highly affected people do see out of products or whatever things that they know, they will agree on a very high percentage. Maybe 80, 90%.
yeah.
But there are ones we disagree with, and there'll be a residue of both. So what that is now you have to have a whole new conversation about what is truth,
Yeah.
because if I tell you that C3PO was always all gold, right? And I know that's
Yeah.
true. Just about anybody I know knows that's true, and I have residents, that's true, right?
Right.
But if you tell me C3PO has always had a silver leg, isn't that also true?
Yeah, technically, yeah. Yeah.
It is, right? I mean, how can you say
Yeah.
it's not?
Yeah.
So it puts the reality, and a lot of people don't want to have to think about this, but this is like the deepest topic I've ever come across, because our whole reality just keeps shifting, and it shows you that this physical existence that we're in, this isn't all there is, and this isn't even the majority of what it is. Like, this isn't the big picture. Um, I don't know. It's a pretty amazing thing. I don't know how people can ignore it. There's ones that everybody will resonate with. Um, you know, and just so much of it doesn't make sense. Like, things will, like the Looney Tunes, the cartoon, the
Yeah.
Looney, right? Yeah, you know about
Yeah.
that one?
Yeah. The spelling change, which is really weird. Yeah, it's from TOONS to TUNES. And it doesn't make any sense.
TUNES, and that
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. And what doesn't even make any more sense than that is a few things. So you're trying to tell me, not you, but they're trying to tell us, and reality is not even, it's not even necessarily a they, and I even get
Yeah.
caught saying that. Reality is telling us that it's always been TUNES, like the music tune rather than a cartoon, right? But
Right.
you ever heard of the Tiny Toons?
Hmm. I
Well,
definitely remember watching
they're
them.
based off the same exact characters. It's the same company, Warner Brothers, whatever. It's TOONS. Well, now it's
Yep.
actually, it dropped its S, but it's TOONS, right?
Right.
Why would it be tunes if the other one was tunes like a music tune? And then on top of that, and I can't take credit for finding this. Somebody had dug this up a couple years ago in a video. I really don't remember who it is, but shout out to you. He did a video where he went and looked in the registry domains for websites, and you can see when people registered their website, right?
Yeah.
Warner Brothers registered LooneyTunes.com with the TOONS
Hmm.
2 years before the TUNS. Now, TUNES, you don't register the wrong name of your website and then register the correct one 2 years later. You register the correct one, and then when they throw offers at you for similar websites for like $1 or $2 a year, you grab them. So if people accidentally do that instead of your URL, they get redirected to your site. That's what you do.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
you don't register the wrong one.
Yeah, hold on a second, Brian. Let me just say something. For those of you who may have just tuned in to FERlive.com, you might not be able to hear Brian, probably not. We're having technical problems. Please come over to my YouTube channel. It's Thunder Bear Courage, and you're looking for Thunder Talk Sunday, April 28th, 2019. And I do apologize for the technical issues. I have a really old computer, but I'm also not too really up on some of the stuff. I make mistakes sometimes. I don't know what I did wrong. So anyway, go ahead, Brian.
No, it's all right. All right.
Yeah.
It happens, dude. This shit isn't easy to figure out either.
Uh,
It was real hard for me at first. I had to have a lot of help. It was hard just to get it on.
mm.
Yeah, just YouTube doesn't make it easy either. None of
No, it
these.
doesn't. They don't. They don't make it easy at all. Yeah,
Some
but
I'm sorry.
it's
Go ahead.
it's probably my Well, I have Ubuntu on the computer, which is cool for a lot of things, but it's really complicated to operate.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and I don't know why it's messing up because I had it set so where they can hear you, but I mean, as soon as I put the loop back in, but I don't know what happened. I'm gonna have to totally go through and just redo everything, I guess, or something. I don't know. Oh,
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right, man. But yeah, I see somebody in the chat. John Cole said, "Look at the unifying power of the Emmys and the flat Earth." I'm trying, man.
yeah,
That's what I try to do. I talk about all these topics on my shows. It's been a lot of Mandela the last several months, but I talk about flat Earth. I talk about 9/11. I talk about all this stuff. I've been doing this stuff for a
yeah,
long time. Super, into the Mandela effect right now because it keeps changing every day. That's the beautiful thing about it. Like, okay, once you get to a certain point in a topic, I mean, the information doesn't keep changing. I mean, you can dig more in other directions and try and find more, but once you've been so thoroughly fluid through it, you kind of move on. It gets boring, right? But
right,
this one just keeps changing. I'll wake up, there'll be 5 new changes tomorrow, sometimes 15. It just keeps changing, and
yeah,
it comes in waves. Sometimes there'll be a slow week, then sometimes there'll be so many in a week, and it's like I feel that everybody's just feeding off of each other. It's
yeah,
very important too that people look into all these topics, not just one topic, because if you're trying to put together the pieces of the puzzle, you're never going to do it if you're one track minded. You're just not. There's certain little connections you need to make between the Mandela effect and flat Earth to help you see it from either side, because you're going to have new eyes. Like, for instance, and I'll come from the other side to my Mandela effect people out there. It's very beneficial to go through the flat Earth stuff, because then you're not going to jump into the Mandela effect and be willing to give science and scientism the credit for causing this thing, which is what I see a lot of people do. But the reason they do it, it's all the same people that still believe in NASA usually. Do you see what I'm saying?
yeah.
Then they'll just jump and they'll believe CERN. And it's, to me, CERN is NASA underground.
Mm. Oh, you had a Mandela effect that actually reversed itself, and I can't remember what that was. Do you remember offhand what that was?
Was it the Apollo 13?
I don't know. I can't really remember. It said you said it was on one of your shows. I might have like tuned in like halfway through the conversation or something, but you said something about it actually reversed itself. So where it just changed and then it changed back.
Apollo 13. And
Okay.
there's been other ones too, but that's the biggest one. And I can speak on that for sure. And everybody will know this one. But this now, this is one that I can't prove to you now. Well, I mean, I kind of can, but it's changed back. So if you're a skeptic of this, you're just gonna say, "Well, you're gonna tell me it changed and changed back." But this happens. And Apollo 13, the most famous quote, "Houston, we have a problem." It changed. It changed from "Houston, we have a problem" to "Houston, we've had a
Oh,
problem."
yeah, that
Past
was
tense.
it.
And yeah, and it
Yeah.
changed not only in the Apollo 13 movie, but also in all the NASA, archive or whatever it is. As fake as both of those movies are, it still changed. So don't tell
Mhm.
me NASA's fake. Yeah, I know, dude. NASA's wicked fake, but that doesn't matter. That didn't change their archive. The Mandela effect did. So then we all go under the videos of it and clips of it, and we're like, "This is crazy," and everybody's talking about it. It changed back. Then those videos disappeared. Now, there's actually, when the Mandela effects happen, there's a lot of articles out there that'll call things like famous movie misquotes, and they're really just Mandela effects, you
Yeah.
know? And which one were we just talking about? I got so lost for a second.
Yeah.
Oh,
NASA 13, Apollo 13.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's an article out there, and I first saw this on Guy Fawkes' channel. There's an article out there that says Apollo 13, talking about Apollo 13, and it says everybody, it's a misquote, the most famous misquote of all time or whatever. Everybody says, "Houston, we have a problem." But it's not "Houston, we have a problem." It's "Houston, we've had a problem." Well, if it's always been "Houston, we have a problem," like it is now, like it flipped back to, why does this article exist calling it a misquote? Because that article came out during the time that it shifted. Before it shifted back, that article came out as like one of these Mandela effect backstories to tell us we're all crazy. We're all just misremembering. It's always been "Houston, we've had a problem," past tense. Literally what this article says, and somehow this article still remains.
Yeah. Yeah. I think someone is trying to hide it, and also they might be trying to get ahead of it and say, well, yeah, we're causing it, we're in control, don't worry about it, we're in control, we're doing it, or whatever. That's the reason why that guy held up that sign in CERN with the talking about James Bond. I think that's what they're doing, is they're trying uh to take it away from the spiritual stuff, and then put it into their little boxes.
It's exactly what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
They just like with NASA when they want to, put you on be this insignificant speck of dust and ever expanding universe. Everything they can do to separate you, and if you don't believe in God, everything they can do to at least separate you from spiritual side, or
Yeah.
or your connection with humankind, if that's how you want to look at it. And they're doing the same thing here. Anything now, the Mandela effect is the biggest sign of God to me, or a supernatural phenomenon for me. No
Yeah.
insult to anybody, but this is even because for me the flat Earth is gigantic. But for me, and I know other people disagree, but for me that's more about a deception being unveiled rather than a supernatural phenomenon being experienced, which is what I'm experiencing now. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know it's the biggest deception of all time, the globe. I get it. It's huge. Love the topic. But it's not a supernatural phenomenon. It might be trying to
Uh,
hide
uh,
the supernatural phenomenon. That's
yeah.
probably the main agenda. That's probably the main agenda of it. But you're not actually experiencing it like you do with the Mandela effect. I can't
Yeah.
leave my house. I can't walk by a TV without seeing the Mandela effect. My whole neighborhood has changed, like I told you now. And what I forgot earlier because I wanted to explain what the update was, and I forgot where I was going. The people in my neighborhood haven't taken the update. They still call this place Centerville, even though at least months ago in this reality, it changed to Centralville. And it's always been Centralville now, all the way back in history. Nobody says Centralville. I've called City Hall. I've called every taxi company, pizza delivery, just neighborhood barbershops, stores, all the businesses that are around the main sign of the neighborhood that changed. Stone Monument that changed from Centerville to Centralville. I called every business that has a viewing of it, and they all still told me it's Centerville. I made people spell it for me, Centerville. People from around the country and around the world have followed up on this to get residue. People have called from California, called real estate offices, Centerville, Centerville, Centerville. You look up all the real estate that people are selling their houses. Real estate. I got stuff from the Lowell Sun. I got every post on Facebook because this is my city. So
Hmm.
you go to my friends list and you put Centerville. I mean, there's just post after post. Nobody calls it Centralville. I got, I told you pictures will change. I got
Yeah.
posts, people talking about this is when I was on the Centerville Royals and it's like their little league picture, but their hat in the picture says Centralville on it.
Hmm. Yeah. It's just,
Say,
yeah, that I think there are lots of people that just can't take the update because it shows them that reality is not what they think it is, and it yanks them out of their comfort zone. You know, so it's like when you called that preacher, and no, it wasn't you. I'm sorry. There was a lady that called a preacher about the
Child of Light.
line.
Child of Light. Let me plug her channel too, because I've used
Yeah.
her video a lot. Child of Light, everybody on YouTube. Anybody that gets into the Mandela effect and it comes from like a religious point of view, she's definitely a good channel to look at. But go ahead, explain what you're gonna
Okay.
explain.
Yeah. And she called that preacher, and she recorded and everything, and she asked him about and it was on your video. I remember now. Yeah. So
So
she
behind
asked.
lamp. Yeah.
Yeah, she asked him about the lion and lamb thing. He says, "Yes, I know the lion. It's a lion and lamb or whatever." And and she asked something else about it. I forgot what, but he went and got the Bible to look it up, and it said wolf and lamb. And he got another Bible, and he kept getting other Bibles, and it was all wolf and lamb. And then he came
And he
back
went in.
in,
Yeah.
yeah, and said it started saying it's like a metaphor or something. It's like, wait a second here, you're
Yeah.
totally
He didn't just say it
missing the
was.
main point.
He like
Yeah,
got into the whole meaning of the Bible. Like he went on for like minutes and minutes, and it's like, dude, you even admit it was. Not only did he say it was there, it's again the way that you phrase it. She
yeah,
asked him, "What animal is it that lies with the lamb?" She didn't
oh
say it
yeah,
was a lion and the lamb, and he said, "Yeah." He said that, and he had already said before that he was the main guy, the main preacher, whatever it is at that church. And then he answered the question for her, He said that he has taught that for 30 years. Never mind
Yeah.
how old he is. He's probably 50, so he's read it for 50 years. He's taught it for 30 years, the lion and the lamb. And then he saw it in the Bible. He couldn't believe it because here's the other thing with the religious people. And I love you guys, but here's the thing. You can't come with that word of God crap can't change. You can't come with that, okay?
Yep.
Because it doesn't matter if you believe it's the word of God, the word of man, the word of an alien, the word of a robot, whatever you think the Bible is, the words that are on your printed paper changed. Now the problem is, I don't want to go off on like organized religion, but when you let your religion blind you so much that you can't look at something, well, that's really the great deception, in my opinion. All you have to do is look. Look in your book. Don't tell me that the word of God. They'll tell you the word of God can't change and it can't be wolf. Okay, and if you do get those same people somehow to pull out their Bible when they see the wolf, they'll literally go into metaphor mode after they just told you the word of God can't change. They'll throw
Yeah.
them both at you. It's insane.
I remember in Sunday school, my papa had gotten that's my mom's dad had given me a children's Bible, and there was a picture, a drawing in there of the lion and the lamb. And
Yeah.
there's other pictures in there as well. But yeah, it's like I remember that. Now I'm not a Christian anymore, but I still remember a lot of stuff from Sunday school. So yeah, you can't tell me it's misremembering. It just is not.
No, dude, and
So,
we could literally sit here for 8 hours and we could go through thousands of them, dude. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I without notes, I could probably go through 100. You know what I mean? Probably
yeah,
more. I don't want to sound like, oh, I know so much. I could probably do more than 100, as could many people in the community. You know what I mean?
yeah.
There's so many. It goes on and on. I mean, this changes with the body. That's big. Like, so people that think it's a psyop, I mean, how do changes happen in your body? How is your kidney now protected up in your rib cage? And what's the
Yeah.
purpose of a punch being illegal in boxing? Doesn't even make any sense now.
Yeah, I know. I always remember the kidney punch, even from when I was a little kid. It's like, no, you don't hit someone there. That's where the kidney is. And it's like,
Yeah.
come on, you know. And it's just, it's just crazy. Yeah, but you know what? Why don't we shift up the topic a little bit? Let's talk about how this reality is actually functioning, because I sometimes I'll talk about the nature of evil. And like, for example, okay, I talked to this deputy one time, and I said to him basically, hey, what you guys are doing is just pure evil. And he says someone has to do it. And that stuck with me. Someone has to do it. Someone has to play the evil part in this. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking, we're talking about how this world that we're living in is probably something like an ascension machine or something, some kind of conscious construct that's designed to help us ascend. And so maybe evil is a part of that. So what do you think about that?
Um, I think that it's God's construct. I don't think that there's too much. But here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
This is God's construct. Like, okay, it's kind of hard to explain. Like I said, this is a test by God. He put us here, and this and that, right? But I also think at some point, somehow, the Creator either lost direct contact with us or couldn't have direct contact with us. So the devil or evil forces, if you don't believe in the devil or Satan, they basically put us in this huge, world of deception. I mean, you can,
Mhm.
from all these topics, you can name them all
Yeah.
off, and the media and the schools and the organized religion and the fake political system and the medical industry. I mean, it goes on and on and on. But we're in this fake scripted system. And I think that possibly some of the Mandela effect is being helped along the way by God, where He is trying to give us clues that this reality that we're experiencing is not the real reality. This is not it. This is not how we're meant to be.
Yeah, you may be right. Um, I'm not
Yeah,
really
and
sure
I,
about.
mean, I might be way off too. It's just a theory.
Yeah,
The-
I seem to vaguely recall something when I was going through a lot of spiritual training, not religious training. Now, religion, I don't like religion. I like spirituality and stuff. I seem to vaguely recall something about how we are like within this. how do you describe it? It's kind of like our own personal holodeck, as it were. From
Yeah,
Star Trek. Okay,
yeah, I've heard
so
that. Yeah,
yeah, and how there are entities outside that try to help us, and they might, manifest something in front of us or whatever in order to get us to, uh, wake up, or to get us to do the right thing or whatever it may be. And they're like watching us, and we can't see them. We can only see what's inside of our own little personal holodeck, as it were. So yeah, it could be, you know if God exists, it may be God is just a collective of soul, or it could be that soul doesn't really exist, that it's just God having a dream, or a daydream or something, and it's just characters. So it's just one God, one entity, and it's just imagining this entire world. So I mean, it could be all kinds of things, and I don't think we'll ever really know. It I view God as, maybe if it's a single entity, it could be something like an amoeba. You know,
well, I to sum it up, I view God as pretty elusive, so we're probably not going to
yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah, like a kind of an amoeba life form, because if God is all that is, okay, if there's nothing outside of God, then there's nothing for God to reach for. There's nothing for God to, speak to. He doesn't need a head, doesn't need arms. There's nothing for him to walk on. So, I mean, it would be like an amoeba type of thing. But how do amoebas procreate? They split off, right? They create other amoebas in essence. And maybe that's what God is doing, is growing other gods, perhaps. But I don't really know. There's just there's so much that I probably can't know from this position in this level of consciousness that I am in.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's just it's all up in the air. But yeah, it's I think it's so much a part of the greater picture of
yeah,
reality. You know.
yeah. All up in the air, but I mean, it's so
Yeah.
fascinating how people ignore it. I mean, it's obviously so important. I mean, things in your possession are changing. That's what it still comes down to. That people try and think this is a psyop, but people hang on to that for months. It's a
Yeah.
psyop. No, it's not. I mean, to these examples I gave you, just check for me. Just all you gotta do, guys. Just check for me. You guys all either have Star Wars, Back to the Future, or a Bible. I mean, come on, man. These aren't I Love Lucy. These aren't things that I'm not bringing up rare obscure things here. A Queen album, a Jewel album. You know what I mean? Red Hot Chili Peppers. They don't say City of Angels now. They say City of Angel and Under the Bridge. Singing about Los Angeles, but they say
Mhm.
City of Angel. I mean, come on.
I've never heard that one. I mean, I know the song, but I never heard them say just City of Angel. So that's a new one for me too. It's like,
Oh yeah, so
man,
check out my Mandela Effect shortlist. I have about 20 something videos that are all just
yeah,
focused on effect, and I have one for that song too. Like tons of residue of it. Even
yeah.
them singing "I
Yeah,
Love
I haven't
Lucy."
seen all of your videos. I've seen a good portion of them though. I really wish I could like download them, because it's easier for me to download them and watch them back at the office than it is to watch them in the library.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I wish I could download my videos too. It says not authorized. It's like, it's my video. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah. But can't even download. But I can download the audio to my video. But that's it, which is fine because it's all audio anyway. But still, yeah, it is. It's absolutely crazy. YouTube just, it does not make things easy. And in fact, Google itself does not make things easy. They used to censor me. It used to be where I mean, at first I would be able to look up my name and it'd have a few things and stuff. But then it got to the point where I look up my name and there was nothing. And now I look up the name in Google and everything is there. And it's crazy. But I use DuckDuckGo as well, and I don't have the censorship problem.
Yeah,
And also, flat Earth videos. If you type a flat Earth video that you know the title to into Google, sometimes it'll say, it's not coming up at all, but you type into DuckDuckGo, it comes right up.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah, it's censorship, and they've admitted that they're censoring the flat Earth stuff. And it's just it's
Yeah.
a wonder they're not censoring Mandela effect stuff too. You know?
Yeah, I know. I'm sure it's coming though. They did whack me
Yeah.
with community strike once for a Mandela. I interviewed Stasha Erickson on the Mandela effect. She talked about her book like
Mm.
nothing that would offend anybody, and they gave me a community strike. But I got it reversed. That's the only one I got reversed. But
Yeah.
they issued community strikes left and right. But they had not on Mandela videos. But they actually did issue me a Mandela. They just issued me a restricted on one Mandela video. They didn't give me a strike, but they restricted it, and that's my Mandela effect that has to do with 9/11. And I'm actually going to re-upload that to my main right now. So anybody that didn't see that, I'll probably air that on my main channel before I go live later tonight, so people can see that. That's a huge one. I should actually talk about
Yeah.
that while we're here.
Yeah. Go
Um,
ahead.
like I said, I come from a lot of 9/11 research, and for me in my reality, and this is only
Mhm.
going to be. It doesn't matter what your 9/11 theories are, including mine. Just matters on what we were told, which is obviously bullshit. But the story's changed dramatically. What I remember the story as at the Pentagon, when the alleged plane in quotations hit the building,
Yeah.
um, that part of the building had been under construction and renovation specifically for that type of attack, and it hadn't been repopulated again, so it was empty. So nobody
Mm.
died at the Pentagon, except the people on the plane allegedly. Nobody died at the Pentagon. Now, in this reality, 125 people died at the Pentagon, and the whole death toll of 9/11 reflects that, and it went from 2871 to 2996. Now, 3,000 was always a round estimate. It was never just four away. It wasn't 2996. It was 28 and change. Well, they added the 125 from the Pentagon, and for me, that never happened. And the crazy thing is, talk about taking the update. So very few people I will look to for 9/11 information that my co-host James will just sum
Yeah.
it up. He's not my co-host anymore, so you probably don't know who he is. But when we did 9/11, my co-host James from New Zealand, super bright guy, knows 9/11 inside and out as well, knows different parts of it different than I do. I'm a little more on the CGI. He would know a little more, they'll say the fake witness testimony, whatever. We know a ton of it. So I says to him, now he's a skeptical of the Mandela effect. I don't think he thinks it's fake. He's come on a couple shows and talked about it, but I don't think it affects him much as far as he knows, right?
Mhm.
So as far as he knows, so listen to this. So he comes on. So I call him. So we've been doing these shows since 2010 on 9/11, real deep. I mean, we know a lot of stuff about it. So I call him and I'm like, James. Now I should have phrased it the way I tell you phrase people and ask them, but I did mention a Mandela effect. Like, bro, I think this is a Mandela effect. This is fucking crazy. I'm telling them. I'm like, dude, nobody died at the Pentagon, and now they're saying 125 people died there. Like in the official story, nobody died. It was empty. That part of it.
Yeah.
He says, no, Brian. I remember the 125, and I was baffled when he said that. But it didn't mean I was wrong or he was wrong. As we know, there's two truths to a lot of this, which just throws a wrench in everything. So I'm going back, and as you know, I have 3 YouTube channels because of the censorship. I upload a lot of my old 9/11 shows to my third channel, and I run streams. And I'm just sitting there, and I uploaded a show that James was on. He was on many of them, and I hear him talking, and he's like talking about, yeah, that's why they wanted to do this, that in New York, this, that in DC, and that's why they wanted to keep it low at the Pentagon, and they hit a wing of the building that had no people in it, and that's why nobody died at the Pentagon. I got his own words saying it, but he told me that he always remembered the 125 when I asked him. You see what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I have the residue recording of him remembering it the other way. So he took the update.
Oh man. That's just
And he took the update on something he's very knowledgeable in.
yeah.
That's like that's like if I asked I don't know it's just ridiculous. That's something he's so versed in, to take that update on something so drastic to change the death toll from the Pentagon to 0 to 125 in his memory. I knew he knew there was
Mm.
none there though. I knew I'd come across that information of him saying that. You know?
Yeah. Man. It's just I don't know. I mean, it's weird. I did have a really interesting experience one time that may kind of relate a little bit. Um, I it was like late at night or something, and I felt that something was being downloaded into me, into my mind, and it was moving so fast it was like this vast amount of data,
Yeah,
and it was moving so fast, and I couldn't pick out individual bits of the data,
yeah.
and, and
That's
yeah, and it's weird. Have you ever experienced something like that?
well, yes and no. No, I haven't experienced it so much like that. And here's the thing too. I want to preface this to people. A lot of people that have heard me a lot will say, "Well, he's going to say no here because he doesn't believe simulation." This, that. I'm open to whatever. I just have my theories, just like everybody else has theirs, and I'm willing to change my theories when evidence is presented that leads me the other way. What you're talking about, I haven't felt it like in that sense
Mhm.
exactly, but I used to mention it a lot on the show, and I used to mention it to Gloria, who used to do the show with me a lot. Um, I feel like I'm getting smarter, and not just because I'm, reading more or doing more videos, whatever it is, talking to more people. I feel like I can process information super, super fast now, and I
Mhm.
can multitask like I never could before. I mean, I can like listen to three things at once, be typing, be talking, be reading, like, and I just take in information really fast now,
Yeah.
and I don't feel like I took it all at once, like an overnight download or something like you're talking about, but I feel like it's just happening to me a lot, like all the time. I'm going through it.
Yeah.
Uh, Not every second of every day, but man, my mind just gets going, and it's like with something stimulating it. It's being like kickstarted, like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, this data that I got, like, I managed to slow it down. It was like a data stream coming into a computer, and I managed to slow it down just a little bit to grab like one or two frames of it. And it was something about the future and I guess demons or something. Because at the time I thought aliens, but I know aliens from like other planets don't exist. But of course, there may be other parts of the Earth. We've
Yeah,
got
of course. Yeah,
maps that are like got this 1,000-year-old map that has all these continents outside the ice wall. So maybe out there.
yeah, I know the one. Yeah, I know the one, the Buddhist one. I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about. Yeah,
yeah. So
like that.
I mean,
I,
they could be.
I like that idea too. But here's the thing with all
Yeah,
the maps. They're all ideas right now. We
yeah,
even a map is, and I'm not one of those people that's gonna go, oh, everybody that does this map is a shill. I hate that shit, right? But
yeah,
I don't put any faith in any map. We don't know, and me and you aren't gonna go out there and plot the course and prove it with a bunch of boats. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But on the same token, it's great to have the map because you try and tell somebody they don't live on a spinning ball. The first thing they want to know is what the flat Earth looks like. It doesn't got to be
yeah.
exact. You can show them something, right?
Right,
Or else you're going to lose them, right? Am I right?
right.
It's not going to
Yeah,
be accurate. You got to give them an idea to visualize it. You can't just explain it. It's as simple as showing them a map. Show them a map. You know what I
right.
mean? They're not even looking into flat Earth yet. If you show them a flat Earth map and it has problems, say with the sun or whatever, you think they're going to remember that?
No.
You know what I mean? No, they're
Yeah,
not going to remember the flaws in the first map you showed them that got them interested.
yeah, yeah. I know what you mean, but yeah, it was just it's such a weird experience, and I've had all kinds of paranormal experiences all my life, you know, and and that was it's just one of the little things is I can't quite shake the feeling that we are in like a computer simulation, but at the same time, I'm thinking, well, I don't know what matter actually is, and scientists, for that matter, don't really know what matter actually is, and it may not actually exist. So therefore, any computers or whatever are just creations of consciousness anyway. So it's just another level, maybe, of reality. And it could be that I'm just perceiving things a certain way because I am so used to computers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, sure, of course. Well,
Yeah.
you gotta think of it in that frame of mind, and then
Yeah.
that you're right. You're right to think of it in that way. Everybody's gonna think of everything from their perspective and their experiences. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course,
Oops.
that's just how it is. We're all unique in that way. We're all unique in the way we think, and we're all unique in our journey.
Hmm. Yeah. So, but anyway, damn it. I'm sorry. I'm having a little trouble with the chat here. The FER live chat. Uh, God. So anyway, yeah. Um, it's just this reality. We don't know what what anything really is. I don't know if we'll ever be able to know what anything really is unless we see things from a totally different point of view.
Yeah.
Um. So anyway,
Well, one of the important
yeah,
things, like these things, all these topics we talk about and these experiences we're having now, it's very important to understand that we all need to share these experiences. We all need to share our information, and yeah,
hmm
no matter what the topic is, like there's so much division. Not so much in the Mandela. The Mandela community is actually very positive, but there is some division. But
yeah,
they have no idea what division is till they see the 9/11 movement, or at least the flat Earth movement. Like it's not even you know a bit of that. But that's my big problem with all these movies. That's why hey, I've been a flat earther since 2014. This is before Eric Dubay, his videos, and Mark Sargent and all that. But I don't like being called that word anymore because the
yeah,
way people act. I'm a researcher. I'm me. I know there's no planes on 9/11. I know the Earth is flat and stationary. I know outer space is fake. I know the Mandela effect is real. But don't call me a no planer. Don't call me a flat earther. And it's not even. A lot of people don't want to be called those labels when they first start looking. Like they're afraid to come out and talk about flat Earth because how the globe believers will treat them and talk down to them. That's not why I don't want to be called a flat earth. I don't care what those people think. Those people think I'm crazy for the last 9 years since I started talking about 9/11, right? I care
yeah,
about people in the community making an embarrassment to be called that name because of the way that they act. And I don't want to be associated with that because I'm me. I have a level head. I don't go out there and trash people. I don't go out there and call everybody a shill. You know what I mean? Other people do
mhm,
that. Like you know what I mean? And I don't want to be associated with that. I'm my own thing, you know?
yeah, yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, I don't know why they're really calling. There's people that are calling Jaron a shill and Mark Sargent a shill. I think maybe it's that someone's trying to divide the community.
That's
You
exactly
know?
what they're doing. And I'll say the same thing I do to everybody. To the people that say that, right? What the
Yeah,
F have you done? What the F have you done for Flat Earth? What have you done more than what Jaronism or Mark Sargent has done?
yeah, exactly.
Those guys have they've probably helped wake up millions of people.
Mhm,
I've
yeah,
never seen them do anything suspicious. I just hear bullshit out of people's mouth. I really do.
yeah, yeah. Of course.
I hear
Well,
people, I'll hear people criticize Mark, an interview with Mark. Yeah, you'll criticize an interview where he might slip up or say something wrong after he's done 150 interviews perfectly. Like, really?
yeah,
I slip up and say things wrong on my show all the time. I misquote things. I'll say the wrong date. I do that all the time. I'll do it like once a week. It happens.
yeah, yeah. It's just human. You can't think of the right word sometimes. Like when I said it takes about 11 pounds to crush a esophagus, I meant trachea, and I couldn't remember the word trachea. So it's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, it's just you slip up because you're only human. So, yeah,
And it's really the people that are always do that armchair quarterback, and it's like really, and then the people that always do the shill calling. I'll always say the same thing. I'll say, well, show me the proof in your own words why this person's a shill. I never get anything but links dropped from shit ass channels. You know what I mean? From
yeah,
trouble channels. I never get nothing but link drop from troublemaking channels that I already know and I probably already debunked their bull crap. You know what I mean? And it's just like, why
mm,
don't you have your own thought? Just because, Eric Dubay or this person tells you that these other people are shills, you're just gonna believe it? Why? Because that's the first person's documentaries you watched? Well, you're just a follower then. You might as well go back to the globe.
yeah, yeah.
Everybody should be
Uh,
themselves. Everybody, including with Mandela Effect. Don't just watch my channel. If you want to get into it, search Mandela Effect, search the newest videos like you would with Flat Earth, and just look for ones that people are talking about that resonate with you either way. That, oh, I want to see if they're talking about Fruit Loops. Oh, I want to see they're talking about Star Wars. Or if you want,
yeah,
stop by my show and we sit down and we talk about all this stuff for 3-4 hours. We take live phone calls and we have a great community. You've seen my shows. We got like over 100
yeah,
people in that now, and everybody's mad cool, and it's like group therapy for all of us. It's not.
yeah,
It's certainly not people over there fighting over an ice wall or a dome, no dome. There's not. There's
mhm,
almost none of that. There's definitely arguing over the theories. There's people that probably get real mad at me because I don't think it's CERN or I don't think it's Satan or I don't think it's AI. I have my own theory. You can think it's that, and you know what I mean. That's cool, dude. We're all going through it. We're all going through it together. You know, it certainly does matter what the cause is, but you know, as far as us uniting, it doesn't matter what the cause is. We're all going through it. Let's all help each other understand. And sure, like you said, we might not ever figure it out, but we're gonna try.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a really good video that's fairly short. It's Mandela on the Street, I believe. Is that
Oh, I love
you
that one. Where they go out in the
yeah.
streets of Melbourne and do the quiz.
Yeah, that's it. And that's
Oh,
a really I think that's a really good introduction.
you know, I have
So,
I have all my videos up on my channel, and I try to organize it a certain way. I literally have a playlist, you know, called Mandela Effect. I probably have 400 videos saved to it, but I do have it up on my channel, and
yeah.
my videos aren't all what's displayed. That video is actually the first video on my channel.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
cool. That's probably where I got it from. I couldn't remember. But yeah, I think it's a really, really good it's a good introduction because you need something kind of short to introduce people's to any given subject. You know, you can't be droning on and on and on and just hit them, keep hitting them and hitting and hitting them, you know, because they're just going to, you know, start blocking things out. So you gotta slowly introduce them into the subject. And
yeah,
so yeah, that's and you do a really good job too. So yeah, it's yeah, just the short videos like that. I need to probably make a good video on flat Earth one of these days here. Something that can just like hit the high points, you know. But I do talk about flat Earth sometimes on my show, even though I'm kind of tired of it
yeah.
because there's not that much you can say. It's like, well, there's proof. I've got actual real proof the Earth is flat, and here's the stuff that the globe earthers do to try to fool you. And those are the two big talking points. And then what do you say after that? You know, it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Well, that's
yeah,
why I tell people I always need this. People get mad at me for talking about other things besides flat Earth when I was in those types of groups, and it's
yeah,
like you don't want to progress the conversation. How long am I going to tell people there's no curve and no spin?
yeah, exactly.
Some point,
Yeah,
and at some point, and I'm not saying that's not important. It's very important. But you know what? You know that the movement's growing. Obviously, there's so many
yeah,
people. Along with that comes a lot of jerks, as well as good people, right? And any crowd, any community that happens when it grows, right? Anything, any business,
right.
anything. Um, but with those waves of new people that are coming in, how about me, you, other people that have been in it for 3, 4, 5 years? We focus more on progressing the conversation, and the people that came in on our heels that have been in it for a year or two now, they can deal with the new people, and it works like that. That's
Yeah,
how. That's where my head's at.
yeah, it could. Yeah, yeah. I just like doing so. I like doing a wide variety of topics. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
yeah.
good.
I like science too. I love science. Real
Yeah,
science, that is. You know,
yeah, yeah. Of course.
yeah, and
Hey, what type of
philosophy and
science do you?
stuff. Yeah,
What type? Any certain type of science? Like,
but physics and engineering mostly. You know, and technology and stuff. Obviously, I talk on my Lightning Post page on Facebook. And of course, I got all these news articles and stuff, and you can see all kinds of technology in there. And of course, I have my humor side. Sometimes I'll talk about comic books and stuff. So I just like to vary it up. I don't like saying the same thing over and over again.
oh, me too.
Yeah,
I like to mix it up. And also, if you research more than one topic, just think about like, let's just say you only research flat Earth, right? And you want to go
hmm
watch a live video tonight. Well, you gotta wait. You know, you might not have to wait because there's always people going live. But for a quality one you want to watch, you might have to wait 4 or 5 hours. Let's say you research Mandela effect, flat Earth, and another topic. Well, now you're not waiting. There's all types of content because there's always something coming from somebody because you're looking into all different topics. You know what I'm saying? It keeps it
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. It does,
Like if
and
I was
I
just
think
looking at flat Earth right now, right? There's not
yeah,
too many channels I'll sit there and watch, where I would be able to just watch all their videos. I can watch all of Jaren's videos. I can watch
yeah,
all of Globebusters. There's not too many other people I'll watch all of their videos. You know what I mean? So if I was just
yeah,
doing flat Earth, I'd be getting pretty bored right now. I would have seen Globebusters earlier today, then I'd be like, oh, what's up today? Oh, maybe ODD came out with something. Maybe I'll watch one of Mark's interviews. But it's now, but I'm like Mandela, Flat Earth. It's like, oh, well, Flat Earth Talk is on now, and this Mandela show is on here, and then I'm back over here on Flat Earth, and I got Mandela video from this person and that person. It's like, you know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah. Oh, and let me say, just for those of you who are just tuning into lvrlive.com, please come over to my YouTube channel, Thunder Bear Courage, and you're looking for Thunder Talk Sunday, April 28th, 2019. Sorry for the technical difficulties. You can't hear Brian. Um, and we're almost done with the show anyway. We got about 10 minutes less. So, yeah.
And I just
Anyway,
at 10:30, which is 40 minutes from now, I'm going to my 9/11 Pentagon video Mandela. I've never uploaded it to my main because of the strikes I know they'll give me, but not on such thin ice now. I'm going to play it tonight. I'm probably not going to leave it up there. I'll probably take it down and then people can find it elsewhere. But for anybody that wants to see it, I think it's a really good video, especially any new people here. And it's only a 25-minute video. It's one of my Mandela Effect shortlist videos. It's just on the 9/11 Mandela effects. There's another one too that I don't think is a Mandela effect that I talk about. And I think after that, about 11 o'clock, I'll probably go live and take some calls. So if anybody heard this tonight wants to call in, has any questions about the Mandela effect, I'll have open phones tonight. So I'm going to have to definitely do that now that I announced it. So open phones tonight, about 11 o'clock, maybe 11:15, 11:30.
okay, yeah, your the link to your YouTube channel is up here in the description or whatever the hell this thing is, and also to one of your Facebook pages, the only one that you have right now that's operational, I think.
The
Yeah,
backup,
yeah, the backup. Yeah, I put
30 days.
that one in.
I'm there for like another 3 weeks.
Okay, for another 3 weeks. Okay,
Oh, you know what my 30-day ban's for?
what?
So remember I told you that the stuff to do with Germany and the Mandela effect, and
Yeah.
for me, the swastika is now
Mhm,
slanted at a 45-degree angle, whereas it was straight. Just on a
mhm,
thread, because I brought that up in a video like 6 months ago, but on a thread
mhm,
just recently, there was a
mhm.
comment of mine. I got a 30-day ban, and they showed me the comment. The comment literally says, "Where I come from, the swastika wasn't crooked." I got like hate speech for that 30-day ban.
God. Facebook is so awful. They gave me like a community thing and for a post, and I have no idea what post it was. They don't email you to tell you it was this post. They
That
don't.
one too. People like just go to the community support inbox. I'm like, I did. It's not there. I don't know what post it is.
Yeah, it's like I have no idea because I post so much on my main Facebook page, Thunder Bear Courage. I post almost. I post like maybe 10 posts or more a day, or 20 posts, maybe even depends on if I'm doing like a lot of news or whatever. And it's been adding up since 2014 that I've been on that one. So yeah, you would never be able to finish that page if you went and looked at it.
Yeah.
You just never be able to finish it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have no idea. And I thought I thought it was for me talking about when are we going to do something about these police because we need to arrest them or something because they're all a bunch of crooks. I thought that was the one, but I looked and it's like, nope, that one's still up. It's like, what did I say? What did I post that was so offensive to them? I can't figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, we
And
just get censored like left and right, and nobody even bats an eye. They think we live in a free country, and it's like you can't say anything. What if I want to go? There's so many events right now that because I respect you, I know I can't talk about on your channel because your fucking channel will get taken down.
yeah,
Literally. Yeah, and you know what the events are. We're not even gonna skirt that edge, but you know what I'm saying. That's a total violation of free speech. Why can't I come out here and talk about a said event, a said you know what I mean? Why
yeah,
can't I talk about an event in an elementary school type of thing? You can't. You'll be done. You know what I mean?
yeah, I
At least
know.
you know what I mean. Like that's ridiculous.
It is. It's absurd. I've
I
been looking at alternatives. Even I was thinking about even Pornhub, because Pornhub is supposed to be branching out into other things other than porn.
heard about.
I
I heard
I
about that.
yeah, I looked at D Live. I've got the D Live out, but it's
It
like
just sucks, isn't it? It's
I'm
just
sorry, what?
I just don't like any of the interfaces of the platform. I've tried a lot of those.
Yeah,
BitTube, DTube, and
Yeah, and it's like I'm not even sure if I'll be able to push that and YouTube out, and it's like my audience is on YouTube already, so I don't know. I don't know what to do really. You
Yeah.
know, it's just we need an alternative. You know, we do have an alternative Facebook, but it's not really up. I mean, as in there's not really that many people's on it right now. It's our LV people. If you go to lvrlive.com and you look up
Yeah.
there, it's LV people. So yeah, so we do have that, and I'm on that, but I don't have time to even go over there very much. I'm mostly on Facebook and occasionally YouTube.
Yeah.
So
Same here.
yeah. Anyway, we're in the last 5 minutes. You want to plug anything else?
Sure. I mean, when you go to my channel, I just want to talk about my channel. When you go to my channel, what you'll find is if you go to the Dose of Reality playlist, which will be the first playlist displayed, that's where all my videos are. They're not all in order, so obviously just hit the video button if you want to see the recent uploads on anybody's channel. You do that. But my Dose of Reality shows, I always keep a lot of the newer ones near the top, and some of the best ones of the last week or two, or ones I feel are prevalent to that day, relevant to that day. I mean, they're all there. There's almost 200 vids. But for people new to this, which a lot of people probably will be coming over, I have a Mandela Effect shortlist, like I told you about, where just each video is like 20, 30 minutes, and they just focus on one effect, break it down. So what you do is you go to the list and you just find one that'll resonate with you, like the Monopoly guy or the Statue of Liberty or the Thinker statue or whatever it is, the Mirror Mirror, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, the Queen, the Jewel. I got all of them up there. You just watch the one video and then you can share that with people. Like if you know somebody that's a Queen fan, you'll know they know it's end of the world. You don't got to send them a 2-3 hour video of all Mandela effects. Just send them the Queen one, and they will certainly be convinced after that. And the other thing is, because of the censorship, I have 3 channels. If I lose my main channel, I'll lose so many people. So it's imperative that everybody just please sub all 3 of my channels, especially that third one. Because if I talk about certain events like we won't talk about, I talk about them on that channel. No holds barred. I do live shows there. And then I just take the videos down after before I get a strike. So people can come over on a late night, hear me and Flat Earth Fokker or something. Just, go off for hours and it's a great time. So just make sure that they sub all of them. That's about it.
Mm. Oh, cool, cool. Yeah. So don't forget, you of course you got your Facebook, and you have like email contacts or anything you want to give out.
Yeah, ricefoot@gmail.com. Ricefoot@gmail.com. And if you forget any of my contacts, Twitter, email, Facebook, literally just go to any of my videos and they're always all in the show notes. All my channel links, everything is always in the show description. So that you really don't have to remember anything. Just go to a video and hit show more, see more, whatever it says under the video that shows you everything. And it's all there. My
Okay,
website.
cool. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's good. My website's there too, therealnewsonline.com. So if YouTube, Facebook, everything takes me down, I still got my website, and then we'll make a plan from there.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for being on my show. I really do appreciate it. And
Thank you.
yeah, yeah, and well, yeah, we're basically about out of time here. So my guest has been Brian S. Stavely, and please check out his work. He does really good work on Mandela Effect. And for those of you who are listening on FERlive.com, I do again apologize. I am so sorry. Something went wrong, and you can only hear me, but obviously on my YouTube channel, you can hear both of us. So I guess I'm going to end the show. And for those of you who want to keep listening to Brian S. Stavely, just go over his channel, and he's going to be doing some stuff over there. So if you're pulling out of a parking lot at night, please turn on your headlights and your tail lights if you have one of those defective cars with the separate switch. Do not give the police a reason to murder you or kidnap you or anything like that. And for all of you who are on chat, and well, thanks for participating in chat, and have a good night. Let's see, off with the stream here and off with the YouTube channel if I can grab the right thing. And let's see. and stop broadcast. Stop broadcast. All
All
right.
right.